What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. Yates here. Some big changes coming down the pipeline in the banking system. You got the Fed raising interest rates, inflation still running rampant, prices are not coming down, and the housing prices are still ever more expensive. Even if the housing prices are declining slightly, mortgage payments are much higher. But what's even worse than that is, I don't know if this is worse or equal, you guys let me know. A warning has come out from the federal government, from a federal government agency, warning people not to keep a lot of cash, not to keep a lot of money sitting in Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. Now, this is not my warning. This is a warning from a federal agency. Now, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this in this video with you guys. But first off, if you're new to the channel, do your boy a favor, go ahead and drop a huge like for the video. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. I really would appreciate that, guys. So I got to ask you a question. What are you guys doing with your money? You keeping your money sitting in Cash App? Are you keeping your money sitting in Venmo, PayPal, any of these other apps that the government doesn't want you to keep too much money inside of? Let me know what you guys are doing. Me personally, you know, I'm leveraging multiple banks. I'm using the big banks like Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, but I'm also using smaller regional banks, credit unions, for diversification. And also, when it comes to diversification, I'm not just using the traditional banks, just like a savings bank account or a checking account. I'm also using multiple institutions for investments. So when I invest in stocks, index funds, ETFs, I'm broad spectrum, multiple different stocks, multiple different companies, multiple different industries, ETFs and index funds. But the diversification goes even farther than that. I will pick and establish accounts and relationships with, E-Trade and Robinhood and, all sorts of different online brokers, just to make sure that I have achieved as much diversification as I can. And that's just within stocks, and of course there's other companies like Vanguard and Fidelity and Charles Schwab. You got Merrill Edge and stuff like that. But so anyway, just looking to achieve as much diversification from a financial standpoint as possible. Guys, the US dollar is definitely at risk of collapsing, and the BRICS nations know it, and they are literally working every single day to replace the US dollar. The dollar is in trouble, guys. And during this transition, one of the greatest wealth transfers of our lifetime will be taking place. And a lot of people don't even realize that Forex opens the door to an incredible opportunity to build wealth. Now, if you guys want to learn more about how to make money in Forex, leveraging the US dollar against other currencies, definitely check out the links in the description down below this video. Now, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has advised Americans against storing money in these payment apps such as Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. And recent surveys have actually found that 76% of Americans have been using an app like Venmo at least once. Now, me personally, I don't really use Venmo. Every now and then somebody might, tell me to use Venmo or ask me to send them money via Venmo or something like that. But I usually would prefer to use Zelle. I would prefer to use Zelle over Venmo, just personal preference. Money stored in apps is often not insured, unlike deposits at larger banks insured by the government. And so they're saying that you should probably stop leaving your money in Venmo and PayPal accounts for days, weeks, or even months at a time. Now, obviously, anything could possibly happen, especially with the different banking systems that have collapsed. Well, not really the banking systems, the banks themselves within the banking system have collapsed. We had about 3 or 4 different banks collapse right here in the United States. And then, of course, you had another bank overseas that collapsed. So you definitely want to be aware of that, right? Now, this is the official view of a federal government agency that is warning users of popular apps like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and they're saying, that more that they should avoid keeping larger amounts of money in the app because they could be at risk. Now, I'm going to actually maybe do a follow-up video and go to Venmo's website, go to PayPal, Cash App, and see if either of these apps mention anything about any type of federal insurance. Are they FDIC insured? Now, chances are they're not, since a federal agency is telling us that they're not. But I just want to see what wording that these different sites are using to give people the confidence to leave money, to receive money, and to send money through these platforms. Now, normally what I do is, if I'm using PayPal, I'm going to tie a credit card to it. I'm not going to tie my debit card to it. I don't personally think that's all that smart to tie my debit card to it. You know, if I'm making payments, that's just me. I'd rather have that extra barrier, that extra layer of protection. So, you know, tie a Visa, MasterCard, or American Express card to it for purchases. That way, not only do I have PayPal as purchase protection, but as a backstop, I'm gonna also have the credit card itself as purchase protection. So it's kind of like having two firewalls. It's like running two VPNs just to be extra safe, right? And they're saying that considering that they are just apps and not federally regulated banks, deposits held in payment apps may not be federally insured like in a normal bank. Now, this comes directly from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So yeah, got to be careful these days. Got to be very, very careful these days. And, you know, while the apps are massively popular, with a 2022 survey finding that about 76% of Americans and a staggering 85% of people who are aged 18 to 29 years old have made a payment at least once, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is warning, you know, that too many Americans might be stashing more money in them than they need to. And this is interesting because some people have asked me, hey, Ron, do you think it's a good, do you think it's a good idea to invest with Cash App? And I never really answered that question simply because I don't use Cash App to invest with. In fact, I rarely use Cash App at all. But me personally, I don't use Cash App for investments. So now that I'm seeing that the money is not FDIC insured according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, you probably already know where I stand on that. These apps saw a collective $893 billion in transactions just last year alone, according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's recent report. And this number, this figure, is expected to nearly double to $1.6 trillion by 2027. Now, given the massive amount of money that's passing through these apps, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said that the lack of federal regulation and oversight of these apps comparable to what banks face is a little bit concerning. And it's clearly concerning to the federal government, but it should be equally more concerning to me and you, especially since a lot of people are sending money to and from family members. You're sending money to friends through Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and stuff like that, right? Because if you guys have seen my previous videos, I shared with you how the IRS is actually looking to start taxing people, literally taxing people who are receiving more than a certain amount of money. And the number was pretty low. Like if you're receiving less than, I think it was like $600. If you receive more than $600 throughout a calendar year or within a calendar year, I believe that the apps are now going to be sending a document, some kind of form over to the IRS at the end of the year, basically letting them know, hey, this is the account total transaction history or whatever over to the IRS. And at that point, I'm not a tax guy. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not a tax consultant. I'm not any of those things. I'm not a CPA or anything like that. So this is not tax advice. But I'm just wondering, how is this going to work out? Because this would actually be the first year. They were actually supposed to be implementing this last year, but I think 2023 is going to be the first year the IRS is actually going to be receiving these forms from these different apps. Now, you're supposed to have paid taxes on any kind of income through these apps before, but I'm not sure that they had a way of tracking that. So now, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be getting these forms or are going to have to respond to them. And this may not be taxable income. So I'm wondering, how is this going to work? Let's just say you and your kids send money back and forth to each other within a family. And let's just say throughout a calendar year, you know, okay, a couple $100 here, maybe you got college kids, right? A couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Oh, $1,000 here. You know, hey mom, I need some money for books. Hey mom, I need money for shoes, this, that, and the other, right? I sure hope that they have a way of knowing what is income or taxable income versus just money shared through the app that's not actual income. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I need to send my mom some money, I don't want her to have to pay taxes on money I sent her. That's not income. So that would be very unfair and certainly very intrusive. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that. How many of you guys even use these apps? But this is yet another way that the system could be set to screw the average American if they don't know how to handle these sorts of things. So I'm going to definitely be talking to my CPA here shortly, definitely before the end of the year, so that we can prepare and make sure that we're not getting charged for taxes that are not even justly due. Drop me some comments, drop me your thoughts, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Let me know if you typically leave a crap ton of money sitting in these apps and you did not know that you were not protected by the FDIC. Hit me up in the comment section down below. Definitely share this video with a friend, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.